There are movies that move you to the point of leaving the cinema in a stupor, pondering what you just saw, thinking about life and your own existence. This happened to me with The Tree of Life. This is the third Terrence Malick film that I've seen so far, the other two being Badlands and The New World, which my brother and I reviewed on YouTube together. Let me be the first to say, he would have hated this movie even worse than he hated The New World. This really seems to be a movie you can only either love or hate. It's like a mix between The Fountain and 2001: A Space Odyssey. The film is awash in gorgeous cinematography and a soundtrack to match. Like his other works, the plot itself is the least important part of The Tree of Life, but for the sake of describing the movie, it's about a boy's early life and how he has to come to terms with it as a bitter, middle-aged man played by Sean Penn. The boy's father and mother are played by Brad Pitt and Jessica Chastain, respectively. The movie delves deep into the main character's relationship with his mother, father, and brothers through a series of adventures that could have been taken out of your own childhood. The movie is dated, though, as the childhood itself takes place in the 50s, and we see the strict family roles that are filled by the parents and children. The father is a strict disciplinarian, lording it over his family in a way that would make Stanley Kowalski proud. The mother is a dutiful wife and very affectionate with her children, and they spend long hours out and about. We watch as they go from little infants to pre-teens, and all the way through I was mesmerized by how much I connected with the film, and all because I had a childhood. Say what you will about Terrence Malick, he's very adept at capturing feeling and emotion out of scenes. Now, of course, there are aspects of Malick's films that annoy and irritate some people, like how there's hardly any dialogue, replaced mostly with narrated soliloquies in the characters' minds. There's also the very slow pace, and a seemingly overindulged focus on trivial shots. In fact, during the film, the story is entirely forgotten in the name of showing us a long segment of the universe being formed and the evolution of life on Earth. But this is where the genius plays into this choice, because one of the biggest issues discussed in the film is the question of God. If you think this segment has a purpose in the film, you'd more likely support that God created the Earth for a purpose. If you think these scenes are random and have no business being there, it supports the randomness of the universe without a God. It all goes back to one of the characters' grief-stricken pleas with God, asking if there even is a God that would take someone away from them. The mother and father also represent two different sides, but this idea is introduced quickly by Malick in the opening narration. There are two ways to live, he claims, through a character's narration: grace and nature. Listen to the difference between these ways of living, as presented in the narration, and then watch the parents and how they live and why they act the way they do. The main character is influenced by both, and changes in attitude and personality throughout the film. One could lay blame on the parents for these changes, but they in turn have been influenced by their own lives, and the children must endure all of this as a fact of life. I haven't said much about the performances in the movie, so let me just say they were all great. Jessica Chastain steals the show as a young woman who starts a family and confronts her own beliefs toward God and the cruel nature of life. Brad Pitt turns in one of the best performances he's given yet, with his portrayal of a man who's driven to ensure that his sons never suffer the fate he himself is burdened with. Sean Penn only has a few scenes, but whoever plays Penn's character as a child should be commended. It's rare that a child actor can hold their own with their more experienced co-stars, and this is such an example. The Tree of Life succeeds in keeping the mind thinking, even as the movie rolls on in front of us. At its best, it keeps us fascinated by what's happening as well as the underlying themes it introduces, and at its worst, we're still thinking of these themes as we're watching the film. While it's very debatable on how talented Terrence Malick is, I say he is a very gifted filmmaker, and The Tree of Life merely confirms that fact.